Watford scored 3+ goals in 3 games running for the first time since 2013. It has been a brilliant start at Vicarage Road, and Tom Cleverley is the new hero. What's going right? We're reviewing it all on Where Hornets Walk. Welcome. We've got Rio fresh back from holiday. We've got Aaron and Luke away on holiday this week. And goodness, they are absolutely gutted to miss talking about this one. 3-0 against Stoke. Rio, did you enjoy that one, my friend?
Great win. I didn't see that one coming because obviously previous week before, Stoke had a very good win v Coventry at home, which isn't easy. I thought it'd be a score draw personally, so I'm delighted with 3-0 and as comfortable as it was.
Absolutely. Coming up on the programme today, then, we are going to preview the Derby County match. We've got our Rams fans standing in the wings waiting to talk to us. And I'm also going to ask Rio to look at the current central defenders for Watford and review where he thinks they currently are. We're asking for your comments as well on what's the best pairing Watford have ever had in central defence. And we'll come back to that later on as we do this video. But we're now 3 weeks into the season. Matchday 3 is upon us, Rio, and Watford sit a nice, healthy second in the table. Has it even surprised you just how well you've started?
Definitely. I mean, people say pre-season doesn't mean everything. You can't judge what's going to happen in the season off pre-season, but our pre-season was not very good to say the least. And Cleverley even said he made mistakes. He didn't look at the opponents enough, etc. And we still haven't invested a lot or at all into the squad. I still think our squad's below par, but Cleverley's working wonders, and I think he's a great manager. And hopefully, if we get that striker through the door and hopefully a centre back, we maybe will sustain this momentum.
Yeah, we saw signs of this though towards the end of last year, didn't we? When we came in, especially at Vicarage Road, that became a fortress. Vicarage Road.
I mean, Cleverley's first few games, Ipswich away, West Brom away, Leeds at home, didn't lose a single game, and we could have easily come out of those with 2 wins.
We've talked before about whether this will mean you'll get any investment because the owners will think, well, actually it's okay. But we'll come on to Stoke game in a second. What do you actually need though from the remaining 2 weeks of the transfer window?
I think our starting 11's actually good, bar we need a striker because Bayo he had a tap in on the weekend and just didn't have enough power on his header to get it over the line. And whilst Rajovic, he has shown signs of improvement. I think his movement's way better and he's not standing still. I still don't see him as a 15-goal striker, which realistically, that's what we're aiming for. So a striker on loan, I think, a centre-back, because it's up in the air whether Hoot goes or not. And I think we may be looking to offload one other centre-back as well in the meantime. And I still think we're light in midfield. So, but as Cleverley said to the Watford Observer not long ago, basically all across the park.
We'll have a look at central defenders in a second, but focusing on the Stoke game, that first half was very cagey. And what was the turning point in the game for you?
Yeah, so in the first half, so obviously at half time, Cleverley brought on Larouci, our new signing, who was at Sheffield United last season, brought him on for Ngakia, and just having that natural left footer in Larouci meant we could whip balls into the box and everything, because whilst Ngakia, he hasn't been awful at left back, it's just he's not on his stronger side. You can see it's halting him a bit, so Larouci on and it made the world of difference, honestly.
Yeah, okay. The man of the match was obviously given to the most industrious player on the park with goals, but who was your unsung hero of the game?
Oof, I mean, there were so many standouts. Larouci obviously got an assist, I think, and Chapadazzi was just bossing it around the park. Kiembe as well, those 2 goals. I wouldn't say man of the match, but my unsung hero here is James Morris, centre-back. I mean, he's not the tallest or strongest guy in the world. He some think he's not championship level still. Maybe he isn't. But to do a job on the left side of a back three he played their midweek v MK Dons, but to do it in a league game against Stoke, who they're not the worst team in the world, so I think he deserves plaudits for that.
Yeah. All right. Before we chat about the Derby game, then, if you don't yet follow Rio on Twitter, please do so. You've got his Twitter handle, I think, on the screen there. He also runs a Twitter Spaces as well. A great listen, generally after most games or close after most games. So do give him a drop there. And we are looking for 25 likes. We really would love you if you're still watching and love the content that the three of our Watford fans have been putting out. Please just click the little like button at the bottom there. It'll mean so much to us as we aim to get our target of 25. There's loads of Watford content there. We know we are competing against tons, but we are ever so grateful for you listening in, as we are the shortest, most compact Watford review channel on the internet. Right, it's time for the Rams to wander into town. Welcome for the Rams Walk, Peyton. This is a fixture you could do without, isn't it, Peyton? You have to get in your own first 3 points of the season.
I mean, got to play everyone at some point, haven't we? I'd rather Watford than Leeds,
Okay.
They look very good. However, we like to frustrate teams, and if we can frustrate a team who have scored 3 goals in the last, 3 or 4 games has it been, then that'd be great.
Yeah. So this is an interesting one for me because so far Derby have played 2 teams, haven't had much possession at all, got absolutely overrun by Middlesbrough, but still won. And obviously against, in the first game, it was a little bit more even-sided, but in both games you haven't had possession. In this game, Peyton, Watford like to play a lot more on the counter-attack. You're expecting to see a lot more of the ball. Does that mean that Paul Warren will approach this differently, do you think?
No, I think it'll be more similar to Blackburn in the sense of Blackburn played a lot on the counter against us, and they have capitalised on defensive errors. Whereas with Middlesbrough, we didn't really have a chance to make those defensive errors because they were everything was going through them. We never had a chance to misplace a pass. We have never had a chance to, pass it back to the goalkeeper a bit poorly like they did and give us a free run on goal.
Rio, when we asked you at the start of this season who was going to go down, I think most of the Watford team put Derby straight down there.
Yeah.
Do you still expect that to be the case?
I mean, I didn't think they played great v Blackburn. I didn't watch the Middlesbrough game. Apparently, I don't know, on another day Middlesbrough could have won, but I don't know, it all depends. You can't judge what's going to happen in the next 44 games over the first 2, so it'll be interesting to see how they play at Vicarage Road on Saturday.
Okay. Peyton, are you likely to make any changes to your starting lineup? Are you going to have your new goalkeeper debuting, for example?
Personally, I think Vickers has to keep his spot after his performance against Middlesbrough, but at the end of the day, Zetterstrom isn't here to make numbers. He's an expensive keeper. He's most of our budget, really. And I think he might get given the spot. I also think Ryan Iambi will come in for Kane Wilson because he came off injured against Borough in the first half. Same with Sonny Bradley Ferrer and Cashin. Same thing happened 5 minutes earlier. I think they're both fine, but without those substitutions in that first half, I don't think we would have held on. So,
okay. All right. You two have only met 45 times in the division, which I find a baffling statistic.
We haven't played you since 2014, isn't it? Something like
that. That's right. Yeah. 2021 you met. Watford did the double over.
COVID.
Yeah, 45 times for a club the size of Derby, and obviously the history of Watford. And in 9 of the last 10 meetings, both teams have scored. So. Hopefully this is going to be an omen for a good match this weekend. Let's get a score prediction from you then, Peyton, before we let you disappear back to Derbyshire.
I think it'll be go with a 1-1 like I did for Borough. these guys look very good, and hopefully we can just frustrate them and not let them get chances. And
Okay, Rio.
It'll be typical Watford to lose this 1-0, considering I'm there as well. But I don't think it'll be as comfortable as Stoke because they didn't lay a glove on us in the second half. But I'm going to go 2-1 Watford.
Brilliant. Right. Thank you very much, Peyton. I really appreciate you coming on then. For Rio, we're going to have a look at some takes from social media of what people are thinking about the Stoke game. Cheers, Peyton. Yeah, these are all pretty much what you've said already. Bringing Lucci on changed the game. You've already ticked that one. Kayembe is actually looking like one of the best midfielders in the Championship right now. And back Tom Cleverley, he is the one. Just on the Kayembe one, the account itself says it all. Do you look at him and think, that he's got, avoiding injuries, he potentially has got to potentially going to be looking at one of the best midfielders of the Championship this season?
It's weird because in the first half he Stoke, people were saying the 10 didn't suit him, but obviously we changed something up at half time and scored 2 in the second half. Obviously he's been there for 2-3 seasons now. In his first couple of seasons, we didn't really know where his best position is because he's played in the 6, he's played in the 8, he's played in the 10, but he does lack a bit of defensive ability at times. So we've seen the best out of him since probably December 2023. I think the 10's his best position. He's so composed on the ball, rarely loses it. He's got a belter of a strike, best of the club, and he can also, if we're being overrun by other teams, he can help out Sissoko and Tom Teddy Bashir in that midfield. They can complement all their games well.
All right. We said full of each other. Remind me to edit that out. Let's have a look at central defenders then. Last week we reviewed goalkeepers with Luke and Aaron. This week it's centre defenders. You've got quite a lot. There's only really Burnley that have got more than you. So you said earlier you're going to probably look to offload some, and Hoyt, as you mentioned, could be on his way out. So it's a case of getting rid of some, isn't it, rather than signing some?
I think we may have quite a lot of centre backs, but what we lack here is quality, because you've got Antonio Tikvich there, who we obviously brought in from Udinese in the summer, but playing James Morris, who's a natural left back, we're playing him Morris over Tikvich, a left centre back, so that shows how much Cleverley thinks of him. And obviously João Ferreira there, Watford, when we announced our squad numbers for the season, we said he's going to be on his way out. And that Kaiki, who we signed from Fluminense, he's only played 1 minute of senior football, so a loan could be on the cards, or I doubt he gets much minutes apart from the cup. And Ciaralta, he's not everyone's cup of tea. So I think we do need 1 or 2 signings in there, probably 1, because we won't stretch the budget to 2. But I think that is one of our weakest points.
And what about Hoyt then? I mean, obviously he owes the club nothing in terms of giving back. He's somebody who's Mr. Dependable, isn't he? Why do you think this should go in terms of what should happen next?
I mean, he may not be the best, but he's not the worst. He drops a 6, 7 out of 10. You can every week you can rely on him. Problem is, he's 30. He's got a year left on his contract. If he does go to Saudi now, you could get 3-4 million, or you could let him go on a free in the summer. So I'm that kind of guy who wants a player if they wants to be here. If he doesn't want to be here, I'd personally get rid of him. But I do think he would be a decent loss for us. So I prefer to keep it, but it depends.
All right then. We set the start for you to comment below on your best pair of central defenders for Watford ever. Rio, who'd you come up with?
Oh yeah, no. The Pozzo model really is all about attackers. We lack investment in defence, but I think a few in my lifetime, so 16 years, you probably have to go. Britos was very good. Prodal. There's some decent centre backs, but probably from about 5 years ago.
Okay. If you can beat that, and I'm sure you can, in the comment below, who have been Watford's best pair of centre-backs. Next week, we're looking at left-backs and right-backs as we complete our review of the defensive line for Watford. Also, we're going to, of course, review the Derby County game and also have a look at Watford's next away game as well. We'll have Luke and Aaron, the full team, back. Thank you very much for joining us. We, again, know there's loads of Watford content, but we appreciate you watching this with us. Please drop us a like. We hope to get to 25. If you really help us, that'd be great. And we'll see Rio and the team back next week. Cheers, Rio. Enjoy the game.